Broca area are not completely consistent is generally considered to make up some part of region called the interior frontal gyrus, which is found in the frontal lobe. In the vast majority of individuals, Broca area reside in the left cerebral hemisphere. Broca area was named for the physician Paul Broca. The first identified the region is playing a potential important role in speech production. Broca based its hypothesis on case studies patients with image to the area and also display a deficit of speech. A particular condition Broca observed came to be known as Broca apasia. Involves deficit in the ability to produce language. Patients with Broca apasia reading and writing are also often impaired. The language comprehension is typically relatively reserved. The precise role of Broca area in language production, however, is still being debated. In other words, the damage to Broca area can disrupt language production, but nobody is quite sure exactly what language relay function is lost cause disruption. So a timer that says Broca area is involved with production movement, like a big tongue and mouth that allows speech to be reduced. Other have argued is involved with syntax, grammar, verbal working, memory, or all above. Broca area is also thought to have a variety of other linguistic and non-linguistic functions. It's been recognized as playing an important role in language comprehension, movement, and even understand the movement or action of others. It does appear to play a role in language. The overall function seems to be more complex. Although there are some debates over the exact location of Wernicke's area, is typically considered to reside in the cortex of the left cerebral hemisphere, near the junction between the temporal and parietal lobes. Wernicke's area was named after the German physician called Wernicke, who reported image this region result at the site, where patients are able to produce speech that resemble fluent language, but actually is meaningless. The disorder is aphasia, and patients who suffer from it do things like make up word or similar sounding words substitute for one another to read speech that makes little sense. Patients with Wernicke's aphasia also suffer from deficiency in their ability to understand language. Wernicke proposed a model for language that involved both the reason he discovered another language, center Broca'S area. Broca'S area to play a role in speech production, and Wernicke's model, which was later expanded on by neurologist Norman Gaswin and called the verification model. I suggest that Wernicke's here requires plans for meaningful speech, while Broca'S area is responsible for taking those plans and determine the movement like at the tongue and mouth required to turn those plans into vocalization. It sounds like, however, that this model is too simplistic. Studies indicate that language likely involves widespread networks and can't be boiled down to a connection between two brain regions. Additionally, evidence now suggests the Wernicke area may be involved in speech production rather than just comprehension, and some have claimed it may not be as important to language comprehension as one thought.